Darkcast Network. Indie pods with a dark side.
Darkcast Network. Come to the dark side of podcasts. We have cookies.
Cookies? Me love cookies.
Hey there, Rainbow Warriors. I'm CJ, host of Beyond the Rainbow, True Crimes of the LGBT. My episodes focus on crimes committed by and against the LGBTQ community. I've covered cases you probably have heard of, such as Matthew Shepard, Brandon Tina, and the Orlando Pulse nightclub massacre, as well as some lesser-known cases like the murder of Ray Hainish, the Australian gay beat murders, and the suspicious disappearance of Lisa Lynn Stone. I cover cases brought to me by listeners like Penny Brummer, who I believe was wrongfully convicted, taboo cases such as lesbian corrective rape and murder in South Africa, and Pray the Gay Away camps. I discuss gay serial killers, women who pretend to be men to hook up with other women, and trans murders. I'm opinionated and uncensored. I know I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but surely I'm someone's shot at tequila. No matter what your gender or orientation in life might be, please join me as I tackle rainbow crimes in search of unicorn justice. Remember, it's not a crime to be gay, unless you're a murderer.
Devil is on his way. Devil is on his way, motherfucker. The devil gonna make you pay. Fall to your knees. Devil is on his way. Fall to your knees. Devil gonna make you pay. Fall to your knees. Devil is on his way.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Mountain Murders. I'm Heather.
And I'm Dylan.
Hey.
Hey, what's up, girl?
How's it going?
Doing good.
Happy May Day.
Yeah.
May Day, May Day. This podcast has been going down for a while.
I've been waiting all year for the May the 4th be with you memes that are coming soon, right?
Yeah.
May the 4th be with you. And
or the
then,
Justin Timberlake, it's gonna be May.
And then directly after that, of course, is Cinco de Mayo, right? A reason to have some great drinks and celebrate together.
We had our first date in the month of May.
It's true.
So it's a very special month. It reminds me of all the bad choices I've made in life.
Oh, that's so sweet.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Happy May Day. I see you're wearing your festive flower crown.
Of course.
You've been dancing out in the yard. You built yourself a little, maypole. You've been wrapping a ribbon around it. It's cute. I mean, you're by yourself out there doing this. But, it's adorable. I'm glad you're getting into it.
And for the people unfamiliar, what is a maypole?
It's a big pole, Dylan. What do you mean, what is it? It's a freaking pole. It's a decorated pole, and people dance around it, and then they crown a May Queen.
Okay.
It's like a fertility ritual that dates back to the pagans and European pagans.
The pagans were very concerned with fertility.
The pagans was fucking.
That's right.
Nothing wrong with that.
In front of the old gods.
Well, sometimes you gotta have a witness.
All right, so here we are in the Mountain Murder studio. We're so glad to be back. I've been dragging around, not feeling well, haven't been able to record with my beautiful wife. So here we are. I made us late.
Sorry you've been under the weather.
Yeah, dragging around, old people problems.
Maybe you're like Vicky Sue Robinson and you're about to turn the beat around.
As they say up in the holler, I've been dragging around like a mashed cat.
Yeah.
Yep.
You sure have, Dylan. Well, we have a case that, when I first heard of this case, I found it deeply disturbing.
Okay.
And it's been on my list for a while. Finally gotten around to covering it.
Much like my kiss.
What do you mean?
It's on your list. Oh, it's a wish. Because your wish is on my list. I said kiss.
It is a kiss.
No, is it?
Just
Just leave that in. That's real. That's organic.
okay.
This is why people tune in.
I mean, you are speaking on Hall & Oates, right?
Yeah, because your kiss is on my list?
Yes.
Because your kiss.
Your wish. Where did that come from?
It never says your wish is
Honey,
on my list?
No, never.
In the whole song.
Blasphemy. Never.
Okay.
Just stop.
All right.
Stop. Okay. Ashley Chance was born on April 25th, 1986 in Summerville, South Carolina. Her parents, Rayma and Jimmy, had 5 other children. Some were from previous marriages and then others from their current marriage. So growing up, Ashley was close with her older sister, Brandy, and considered Brandy to be like her best friend.
All right.
And I have to say, as a single, like, only child, just the one of me, should have been more of me, right? But just the one of me, I mean, I was just always really envious of people, other people I knew, my friends who had siblings.
Really?
Because they often were very close. And I guess I was always jealous. Like, I really wish I'd had that kind of, like, companionship.
Well, see, I've always wondered. I had a sister growing up, and I've always wondered what it was like to be an only child. Some ways, I always thought it would be cool. Like you get, I guess from the outside looking in, you always have kind of a rosy view of what it must be like. Like you get all the energy, all the presents and the attention.
Yeah, I basically just got all the shit dumped on me.
So there was only one target, so everyone was okay.
Yeah, and my parents are both horrible people, and they hate me, so it was not good.
And they were able to focus on you.
At least if there had been another kid there, like maybe that kid could have caught some of the heat or something. I don't know.
You could have had some human shield.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so I always wanted a sibling.
I think you just wanted a way out. Shit.
I did. I wanted to run away and join the circus so badly.
You know what you wanted? You wanted a fucking distraction so you could be out.
Yes.
All right.
You summed it up, baby.
Okay.
You know me well. Sadly, Ashley's half-sister, Jeannie, passed away when she was only 11 months old. Very tragic situation for this family.
I can't even wrap my head around what that must be like.
No.
To lose a little one like that.
My heart goes out to parents who've lost a child.
Of any age, let alone...
Yeah, a little one.
A little one, yes.
Summerville is northwest of Charleston. South Carolina's Low Country is a rapidly growing area. I see people all the time talking about Charleston, the traffic. It's kind of one of those places that's grown like almost overnight. Just like in a short period of time. You have a lot of folks moving into the area.
Well, yeah, the port of Charleston there is very key to the economic growth of the entire state. I often entertain Heather with stories of infrastructure and economic plans are laid out over decades, and her eyes never glaze over. But the port leads to inland port, which is the railroad system, and it doesn't surprise me that the area would be like a boom town. You know what I mean? Because with all that work and industry, you're going to have people flood in for the jobs. And, what's strange about growth is I don't think any area handles it perfectly because you don't know about all the different variables or things that are going to happen. You have to react. It's kind of hard to be proactive on growth when you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars being spent on infrastructure. And it's just really frustrating for locals of any type in any area when it's beneficial, but at the same time it's very frustrating when all of a sudden the place you grew up in all your life changes. It seems like overnight.
Yeah. I've experienced this. It's very disheartening. And Dylan, we might be able to afford those millions and billions in infrastructure if we would stop sending our money to other countries and to other people. But, hey, you can just vote for me on election day, right?
And that's another podcast. But, if let's say you got an old store, an old school, or something that's been there all your life and it's torn down, it might make you sad in your heart.
It definitely makes me sad to see that
but
at home, yeah.
The new person who just moved there sees that as a dangerous, derelict property that's now it's turned into a Starbucks, and they think that's a good thing. But then, the local, if you will, might view that in a completely different way.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, people aren't tied. They don't have the nostalgia, and they don't have like the roots in the community and ties to the area to like appreciate the history of it. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think that's where ownership comes in. Like, if you, say you're on your family's land and you've been there for generations, 10
Don't
generations.
sell it.
That nostalgia and that connection is something that we're really losing as a society.
Absolutely. Well, we're losing a lot of shit as a society. Somerville is known as Flower Town in the Pines. And I'm not sure what that means, but it sounds enchanting.
It sounds like somewhere I would want to go if I was really high on weed.
It's a picturesque small town with a walkable downtown area and the kind of place where residents sit on their porches drinking sweet tea. Hey, this place is going on my list of where I want to end up, okay?
Okay.
I want to sit on a big porch and drink sweet tea. Summers are hot and humid, but that's classic low country weather. It's close enough to enjoy everything the coast has to offer, but still like that small town vibe.
Oh, it sounds
from what I understand.
Sounds perfect.
Right. So Raymond described her daughter as a ray of sunshine who was always kind and gentle. She loved nature. Ashley was family oriented, according to her sister Brandy. She said Ashley was, quote, the best sister. Ashley married and started a family at a young age. She had 2 daughters, Caitlin and Haley, with her husband. Ashley loved being a mom. She was described as a very loving parent, and it broke her heart to discipline her kids or be strict with them.
I like to hit the kids. I'm just kidding.
Stupid.
No, I'm just kidding. No, it's tough when you have to. I always felt like you kind of had to lay the law down. Not beat your kids or anything, but just I think.
Thanks for clearing that up for us.
Yeah, I'm not punching them. It's not closed fisted. You know what I mean? I'm not a monster.
Please stop.
But you have
there
to.
Are people out there who think you're being serious.
Have to lay down the law, and you're really just teaching them actions and consequences. In a way.
It's true, but anytime I have had to get on to my kids for something, it does make me feel guilty or kind of feel bad later. Well, maybe I shouldn't have said that, or I think that's just normal for a lot of parents to feel a little bit guilty when you have to punish your kid.
Well, yeah, and you still have to act like the stern parent, you know what I mean? Go in the next room.
Yeah.
And kind of,
and then cry.
And cry or laugh about what they actually did, but you can't let them see that you're laughing about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have all the details, but Ashley's marriage didn't last. The divorce was described as messy. And let's be honest, I think the majority of divorces are messy.
I really just think it's a messy scale, and it's where you fall on that messy
It's
scale.
like a spectrum of mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, you got a little bit of mess over here and full-blown
a full-on gom.
A shit show. Yeah, a gom.
It's a full-on gom over on the other side of it. Now, after a period of, being single, she started dating again, and that's when she met 44-year-old John Mitchell Jr. Ashley was head over heels in love with John, and her mother would say he was the love of Ashley's life. Ashley and John had a son together, Aaron. Ashley lived with her mother, but did plan to one day move in with John. So they're planning for the future. They're looking forward to building this life together, having a family.
So she's already tried at love and struck out, if you will, but now she's found the one.
Well, sometimes it takes you 2 or 3 times. Sometimes you got to kiss some frogs, Dylan.
You do, yeah.
Before you get a Dylan.
Before you get a frog you can stand.
You might get a few warts along the way, but you'll eventually find you one. Now, a year after their son was born, tragedy struck. In January of 2015, John was in a terrible accident. His pickup truck collided with an 18-wheeler, and he died at the scene.
Oh, my God.
This is one of my top fears.
You're literally terrified all the time when we're on the road.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's just because I'm probably I'm a little wackadoodle. But I do have this very healthy fear of tractor trailers. And probably because I come from a family of truckers. And I know you're talking tons of weight and just crashing into a car, like that's never going to be a good thing.
Yeah, see, I have a healthy respect for the laws of nature and physics
Right.
and machines and heavy equipment because
Those big tires.
I've been around things like that in various capacities a lot in my life. And just when you're around machines that the human body won't even slow them down, you know, it would just mush you up and spit you out the other end and never miss a beat. It's scary.
Well, like when the Griswold car
Yeah.
goes under the truck when they've gone to get the Christmas tree in the movie, and so Clark's like trying to like keep up speed, and then eventually it's like he shoots out from under the truck. The idea of being trapped under a truck like that,
Oh my God.
like scares the shit out of me. It's like one of those weird kind of irrational fears. It's probably never going to happen, but it's always in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
That's why I just try to be really respectful of truckers and kind of keep my distance away. I don't understand these people who do these like erratic moves, bold moves around and cut in front of truckers and don't use a signal, things like that. Because, bro, if they were to like hit you or rear end you, you'll be fucked up.
Well, and I don't understand, as long as they're driving normally and safely, which they should, obviously. I don't understand why people with annoyance around truckers or things like that, because it's literally the lifeblood of the country.
It absolutely is, Dylan. And I'm not saying that John was like driving erratically or anything like that, but I'm just like, it's such a sad situation, and to lose someone, because that just seems like it's such a violent way to have a truck collide with like a big truck. I don't know.
Oh, no, it's terrible.
It's just, yeah.
And an accident like that comes out of nowhere, and I'm sure it's very devastating.
Well, Ashley was just emotionally demolished. As she struggled with grief, she tried to maintain a brave face for her 3 children, but she was suffering from depression in the months following John's death. Her family says Ashley never fully recovered from the loss. Like, it was just one of those things that they kind of knew she would never get over this.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know how you do, right?
Well, yeah, losing the love of your life. I can't imagine if something happened to you. I would hate it.
No, and it's just, it's so sudden, right? I mean, it's almost, you could almost compare it to someone being murdered.
I would be like on the dark web trying to find like a necromancer to bring you back. Is there a pet cemetery where I can bury this man?
You know what? And then I'm sorry, I was comparing a tragic accident to murder, and I was just talking about the suddenness of that. Is what I meant. I'm sure murder's a lot worse in ways.
I wasn't even listening to you say that. So
But no, but if I came back from the pet cemetery, and but then you couldn't even you didn't even notice like a real change, because I'm still just like sitting there watching TV,
yeah,
making noises,
it's like a mindless zombie.
grunting.
Well, that sounds pretty normal. You make a lot of. I've never been around somebody who makes so many like grunting sounds, and you make a lot of noise.
Well, yeah, I don't know why it matters.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't make.
Well,
whoa, hey, I don't make that noise.
I've heard you make that noise in the bathroom. It's really loud.
I don't scream in the bathroom. It's stupid, dude.
Yeah, you do.
No, it's usually when I'm hefting my body around.
You scream bloody murder in the bathroom. I'm like, what is he doing in there?
Just let me grunt, dude. Let me make my noises.
Yeah, but I have to listen to it. And after a while, I'm just like, will you shut the fuck up with your noises? How many noises can you make? Stop. Okay, so bye, April. You make me never want to be married again.
What?
I just know if something happens to you, like I'm just done.
That is the sweetest thing anyone's
You're welcome.
ever said to me.
Because I don't think I can tolerate any more grunting sounds.
Oh.
Sound like a little hog rooting around in your mud hole. Now, by April, Ashley started dipping her toes into the dating world. She wasn't interested in sex or a long-term commitment. Dating was more of a distraction from her feelings. She could be in the moment, and let's be fair, I mean, dating is kind of exciting. You meet a new person, you're kind of nervous, anticipation.
You get to tell your best stories again and get the first-time reaction.
You never know, like, how it's going to go along the way. You might meet some duds, but then you could end up like making a new friend. And that's the thing. I don't think Ashley was looking for that long-term commitment, but she just kind of wanted to find some adults to hang out with.
You know, it's funny
and
for me.
socialize.
People often talk about the excitement of, meeting someone for the first time, or say the first time y'all are intimate, or on all these things. And, honestly, for me, I like the energy and everything after. I like the long term. I like when you really get to know someone. That's the part I savor more so than the beginning, because in the beginning, for me, it just feels awkward and weird and embarrassing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember.
I don't know if I'm saying. For me, I like the connection after all that. But
I
a lot
remember the first time and how awkward it was. It's okay.
But a lot of people
Happens to a lot of men.
enjoy the excitement of the very first or whatever. But I don't as much.
You don't enjoy that?
Well, no.
I think you like comfort and predictability,
Yeah. Okay.
right?
I think you're right.
You like the feel of like a good, solid old shoe that's broken in.
Yeah, because I know if I take a long walk in that old shoe, we're going to be okay.
See, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you, baby. Like the back of my fucking hand. Well, I don't want to judge Ashley, but it does seem very soon to start putting yourself out there. I mean, John passed away in January, and she starts kind of getting on these apps in March, talking to people, and by April, she's going on a few dates. And like I said, I don't want to judge her, but that just seems really soon for me. Like for me personally, and I know everyone grieves differently. I don't know.
I think a lot of people would view that as maybe quote unquote soon, too soon.
You're not really giving yourself time to process your feelings.
But I was going to say, I think that's maybe what it is. Like she's having trouble, and she's literally trying to distract herself from the situation.
I mean, that's what it was. Ashley began exploring dating apps. She was pretty with dark hair, kind of a girl next door, wholesome look. And it's not surprising she got a lot of attention on these apps. She's a very cute girl. Ashley received many messages from men online, and she responded to a few of them. Mostly, these conversations were casual with lines like, "You're cute. I like your profile. Let's grab a drink."
Do you like my picture with my fish?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a big fish. Nothing too serious. A few of these dates turned out to be pleasant for Ashley. She met some nice guys and had a good time. But the more time she spent chatting and dating, she realized it was kind of, it was mid. Some guys were good. Others were like totally shitty. And I'm about to tell you a story, Dylan, of one of these shitty dates that she went on.
Okay.
Because this is just outrageous.
Now, this reminds me of a listener story we had where
I can't even believe this is something that's real.
remember our listener story? She went to the guy's house to like watch a movie, and he was like sniff fucking. What did she say? Sniff fucking her head?
Yeah, he kept sniffing her.
Yeah, and he was like curled up on her on the couch.
She was like 2 feet taller than him, and
He was
at some point she said she stood up and like his little tiny body just like flailed.
She
into the
sat
floor.
him off of her.
Yeah.
He was like, "I'm gonna go." Okay.
We got to dig back in the archives because I do remember the story,
Okay.
and it was quite entertaining.
It was the best.
All right, so Ashley, and we're going to talk a bit about online dating here in a minute, kind of dive into that a bit. But Ashley went on a date with this guy named Kyle who invited her to a friend's party. Now, you got to consider she's 28, she has 3 kids, and she hasn't been to a party, like a house party, in a long time. So she thought it sounded fun. And it was a typical house party, as you would imagine. There were guests around her age. Everybody's drinking, socializing, kind of getting to know each other. I'm imagining there's probably like music playing, maybe some finger foods. You never know.
Oh, I was like, wow, I didn't know where you're going with that. But there's so many layers to a party.
What were you thinking when I said maybe there's some you were thinking like there's some fingering going on?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just like, wow, this party is kind of out of control. Everybody's just getting finger banged in the front room.
Are you accustomed to getting fingered when you go to a party, Dylan?
No, but what's fun about
what kind of parties have you been attending?
What's fun about parties is it's like you got the regular party, just like the basic part.
And then you got the finger party, apparently.
You got the fingering room. But then you have all these like factions amongst the partiers. Like you'll have the the ones who are doing like hard drug, you can always spot them because they're kind of creeping off together, or you see them coming out of the bathroom.
It's not the kind of party I haven't
weird
been to
shit.
a party
You just
like
got
that, really.
yeah, no, but you know what I'm talking about, and you can kind of see the dramas playing out.
My friends are all purists now.
Yeah, you can see the dramas. Maybe somebody's getting mad or.
Well, that sounds like a party when you're like 20.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that doesn't sound like an adult party to me. But then again, I haven't been to like an adult party in a hot minute.
I haven't been to any parties.
I haven't been. Oh, that's not true. We had a birthday party for you. It was just like the two of us and Rufus.
You just
I made it special for you.
You just talking about going to a party is making me like, I'm just tired, and I'm wondering how long we're going to have to be there, and if, when can we leave? God, what's happened? What's happened to me?
I'm just I'm so awkward, and I have a really hard time making small talk with people. And I've said that before. I mean, I just don't know how to do it, and I'm very awkward, so I end up saying, like, bizarre shit that people just stare at me like, who is this fucking person, right?
No, but what's funny is people don't realize this about you because you actually fake being really good at small talk.
Oh, I'm a social fucking butterfly.
But it's funny.
But it's all a lie.
Yeah, I know. I know. I learned early on. I was like, oh, she's not really like that.
Mm-mm.
But it's funny because it turns that you almost interviewing them in like not a formal way, but you really get a lot of information out of it, and you really get people talking about themselves, which is, and people like. And I'll just watch you do this thing.
My journalism background.
But I know, and everybody's like, oh, she's so cool, and everybody's like, oh, yeah, she's so cool. But I know that it's literally just draining you. Like your social battery is being tapped.
That's why I like to ask people about themselves, because I know people love to talk about themselves.
And then you don't have to talk about it.
And then they spend the majority of the time talking, and I just have to listen. And that's fine. I'm a good listener. I don't mind listening. And, everybody's got a story, so I like to talk to people and get, like, into the meat of their background. But it goes from, like, being really awkward to making small talk to finding out, like, when they lost their virginity or something,
Yeah, I've always had people, like, tell me personal shit, like, off the rip.
Oh, man. I don't know why. I've got, like, that face. People just walk up to me and are like, I have a horrible hemorrhoid. And I'm like, well, fuck, that sucks.
Well, I've always called it, I have a big ear. It's like people just want to lay it on, for whatever reason.
I think they just look at me and they're like, this dumb bitch needs to hear about my hemorrhoid.
So she's excited about going to this party.
All right. So she's excited about this party. It's a chance to meet some people, which is really what she's after, is to meet people and just have a good time, enjoy herself. Now, at some point, Ashley offended another party guest over something minor, like tripping over his foot or maybe stepping on it. It was something that really should have been waved off, like no big deal, right?
Yeah.
Things like this happen. But a confrontation ensued. Ashley was not going to be disrespected by this guy, because at this point there's like name calling, yelling. It sounds like this dude was a fucking psycho, and you'll know why here in just a second. But she's like holding her own. Like, you're not going to talk to me like that, so-and-so, right? Once things had blown over, Ashley made her way to the bathroom, and this guy follows her. He pulls a gun on Ashley, holds it to her head, and tells her she needs to get the fuck out.
Like, where's her date at? What are we doing here?
Yeah, well, I have a lot of questions. She rushed to find her date, Kyle, so they could leave the party. And I'm like, bro, Kyle, who are your friends?
Yeah, where have you brought me?
Who's going to hang around with somebody that goes to this extreme?
And why is he armed at a party?
Why is your friend psychotic? Yeah. It's just insane. That's why you got to stay strapped, ladies. That's about the time that you stick your 38 in his belly and be like, you want to get grimy, motherfucker? Let's get grimy. We'll both die today.
You think Kyle got a second date?
I don't think that he was her huckleberry. I don't. Once she was home, Ashley debated about reporting this incident to law enforcement, but decided it might just make matters worse. I don't know, girl. This is like a traumatic situation. This is something that, like, can cause you to really have nightmares and be afraid. I don't know.
Well, it is, but I understand from her point of view, she doesn't know these people. She doesn't know anything about them.
No, I get it.
She doesn't know how they're going to react, and once you calm down and get away from it, you're
just kind of relieved.
You're just glad to be
not be in that situation. Absolutely.
Just let it go.
Brandy's sister, Brandy, sorry, Ashley's sister Brandy, mentioned that she was having a hard time in the months following John's death. Ashley was drinking, like maybe drinking more than usual. Despite her mother's rules against it at home around the children, Brandy expressed concern about Ashley's drinking and some of the decisions she was making. Like, Brandy didn't feel like her sister was making the best choices.
Okay.
And she told her so. Like, I think you're drinking too much. Maybe you're not hanging around with the best people. Making some bad choices. Maybe we need to reel it in a little bit.
Well, yeah, it sounds like they're trying to give her some space, help her with the kids. But at the same time, you're going to be worried. You know that she's been through this traumatic event, and it's not been a lot of time. And I'm sure they're very concerned about how she's doing, her mental health and all that.
All of the things, right. So a few weeks later, she meets a guy named Shane on a dating app, and he seems cool. They hit it off, and they plan a camping trip together. Now, I don't know about a camping trip for like a first date.
Yeah.
Being alone in the woods with a strange person.
Well,
I don't know.
I mean,
when I was younger, maybe I would have been like, oh, that sounds great. Let's do that.
If someone's really into camping, I could see maybe they're like, oh, it's going to be so fun. It'll be fun. But I think that's an odd first date just because camping's, I think you could describe as a fairly intimate setting.
Is there some electricity? Does this place have showers?
Yeah.
Am I going to be like digging a hole and shitting in the woods?
Well, there's a lot. There's no.
Am I going to be able to shower? I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like a lot. I'm going to start a dating app. You know what I'm going to call it? In these jeans. Yeah. And instead of swiping, right, you got the app and you're looking at matches. You unzip it.
You unzip.
Dude. Hey, that is $1 million idea.
Well, you just told somebody. Okay. So Ashley's mom agreed to babysit so she could go on this camping trip. And things were going well. They reached the woods. They set up their tent and whatnot. Shane goes into the tent and comes out a few minutes later, and he's heated at this point. He accuses Ashley of stealing or hiding his wallet.
What the hell?
Well, you never know. Maybe he's been on some bad dates as well. Maybe he's had someone steal his wallet. I mean, I've heard horror stories where guys are like, I met this girl, I go to pick her up, her boyfriend and his buddies beat the shit out of me and robbed me.
Well, yeah, he just got rolled. But no, it's like Ashley, she can't win. You know what I mean?
She's just having a really bad run of luck here. Now, Ashley didn't know anything about the wallet and told him so. But the man was angry, and he's like, I'm ending this camping trip. I'm taking you home.
Maybe we shouldn't have went camping, dude. What are we doing?
Needless to say, Ashley had some issues with the men she was meeting on these dating apps. And dating apps can work, but a lot of people experience the same recurring problems. And just from like judging based on social media in 2026, it doesn't seem like online dating or dating apps is working for a lot of folks, because most of the stories I hear are these kinds of horror stories, or they're just complaints about these apps are garbage.
Well, yeah, it's almost like the whole scene has devolved.
Yeah. Well, that's what they say. They're like, it's totally different from like 5 years ago.
And it's like, it's not even about dating anymore. It's like it's almost about interacting with each other through this app.
It's just like an instant boost to your confidence.
Yeah.
Like, this person matched with me. Okay, they think I'm hot.
Well, it's
I
like
don't know.
Back in the day, you see someone, you meet someone, or, you're at a friend's house, you like that girl or guy or whatever. And then you kind of, work up the nerve to ask them out, and it's a whole thing. And it can be an exhilarating experience, of course, if they say, yeah, and then you go on a date and it's a great date or whatever. But there's something weird about just pilfering through all these profiles and just, just the way the apps are designed.
Well, right. Most apps are built around these quick swipes based on photos, height, age, and then like a short little bio. And that can cause people to instantly overlook compatible matches who don't market well just due to superficial judgment.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the apps used to be much more involved. you would have
questionnaires. Yeah, exactly.
like 100, 200 questions, and and
yeah,
I
like
think
eHarmony asks you like all kinds of fucking questions.
I think it was much better, or their intention was to truly find you a match, and if not quickly, but in a reasonable manner. But now it's like they're not even concerned with finding you a match. They're just concerned with engagement. Would you continue to pay your subscription fee and all that mess?
Yeah, because a lot of those apps back in the day or those dating websites were free.
Yeah,
you didn't pay at all.
No, and they just the revenue would be from ad revenue or something from you interacting with the site.
Well, a lot of the complaints are people disappearing without explanation after they match or chat or even go on a date. And since accountability is low, ghosting is common. Misrepresentation, whether it's age, photos, or intentions, can create distrust because you go out on a date with somebody, they look nothing like their photo.
Right.
The photo's 10 years old.
Have you ever ghosted someone?
Yeah.
Oh, God. You did it a lot, didn't you?
Well, it's just because I'm an asshole, but also just because I'm like antisocial. And it's not even really like I don't like this person. It's like I'm too lazy or just too like I like solitude. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
That it's like, I don't know.
So I
have to talk to this person. I don't know.
You just be like, I'm just going to ignore you and maybe you'll go away.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the other end of the spectrum. Instead of ghosting, I'm going to go with stalking.
Okay.
Yeah. Like every time you turn around, there I am.
You'll be watching.
Yeah. I'm like, hey.
Like a police song.
I didn't know you came to this.
Every move you make.
I didn't know you came to this grocery store.
Every breath you take. I'll be watching you. Like that?
Just like that.
Oh, man. Well, users often have different intentions. I mean, like one person wants marriage, another person wants casual dating. Maybe somebody who just wants simple validation. And apps mix all these people together.
Well, yeah, I see a problem with that. I see what you're saying because some people just want adult interaction. Some want it very casual. Some are looking for the love of a long-term relationship.
Some just want a person to text them like "Good morning, beautiful."
Yeah, some want
that's the extent of it.
Some want the hookup culture or whatever. So, and you're just trying to sift through this thing to find something that works for you.
Look, I'm just looking for an uncurable STD. So who's got it?
I'm just looking for somebody to go on a road trip of about 3 to 5 hours with me.
I'm looking for a case of the crabs. Do people still get the crabs? We talked about this once, but it just seems like such a 70s thing.
I think that surely it still exists, right? I don't remember.
I never hear people talking about, because I remember as a kid, I didn't know what that meant, but I would hear that term.
That someone had the crabs?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Or like I would hear, like teenagers or whatever saying, and I didn't know what that meant.
You think they were just meant?
Because I remember one time asking an adult what that meant.
Did you get a straight answer?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
And they explained it to me. But yeah, I don't ever hear people talk about that anymore. Have the crabs been eradicated?
I don't know of any program that actually set out to eradicate the crabs.
Like the Shriners or the American Legion, they try to eradicate polio. Is there some civic organization like the Lions Club that's like, we have completely eradicated pubic lice.
No more crabs.
There will be no more pubic lice. Maybe it's because back in the day people had so many pubes.
So the crab's habitat has been taken away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that you remove your stanky jungle, the crabs have nowhere to live.
I did not think about that, but that actually might. Now, as a child or as a young person, when the adult explained this clinical explanation, were you weirded out? Did it freak you out, or were you just like, did it make sense?
No, it made sense. I mean, I understood, but I was a kid that I would ask adult questions and I would typically get an honest answer. Like I remember the first time I ever heard the term abortion.
Right.
I was watching like the People's Court or something, and this case came up, and I was like, what's an abortion? And, I was probably like 7, 8 years old, and my mom explained what an abortion was. I mean, she didn't go into graphic detail, but, she kind of gave me the legit, the lowdown about this is what it is. And I was just like, oh, okay. Because I feel like I was a very mature little kid. because
Right.
I had to be the adult in my household. So I just feel like I was a pretty grown up kid. So I knew a lot of adult things at a young age.
Yeah, I know. That's why you see a lot of young people nowadays just think everything that comes out of adults or older people's mouths is dumb. And I was always interested, and I would like to. I would hear like a real conversation, and I wanted to hear.
I want to know what the crabs are. Please tell me what an abortion is.
I would ear hustle. I would want to hear about the actual serious conversations. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe I was weird like that.
No. A lot of us were nosy little kids.
That's where you keep going through like back and forth through the living room to get like some Kool-Aid, and you're really ear hustling.
No, well, yeah, but I also remember like it wasn't such a big deal for me to hang around. Like if my mom was chatting with her girlfriends, if I was like sitting there, I don't know. It wasn't like she shielded me from adult conversations, which she
Right.
probably should have. But my mom was a teenager when she had me, so I'm sure she didn't know a lot, or she didn't maybe have the best parenting skills back then, right? Or ever. But I was exposed, I think, to a lot as a child. So it wasn't really like I had to sneak around and get Kool-Aid to like listen in.
Oh, you was getting the gossip.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I also like participated in some things I probably shouldn't have as a kid as well.
Oh God.
Because like my mom was really we're going off on a tangent here, but this is kind of, I guess, interesting to look back on. So my mom was really young, right? So when I'm like 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, whatever, she was very young in her early 20s, and she had this girlfriend that was also like in her age range, and they worked together, and they would like get up to mischief together and would like bring me along for the ride.
Oh, so like hunting down somebody's boyfriend, or
Yeah.
looking late at night, searching the bars, things like that.
Yeah, and this friend Kim was kind of crazy, man. She would do some weird ass shit. Like some guy cheated on her, and she like shit in a cup and rubbed it like under his door handle
Ooh.
on his car.
Damn.
So then when he got a big handful of like her turd.
Wow.
Shit like that.
That's pretty hardcore.
Or like taking a dump on the hood of his car. And I'm like 5 years old. It's like 2 a.m. and I'm like watching this take place while everybody's laughing, because they're immature and they're a bunch of dumbasses,
Damn, she's shitting in the sunroof.
I've seen that before. Yeah.
Man, now I've greased some door handles, but I've never rubbed my excrement under them.
That was just an example. I mean, I could probably tell you a lot more, but then you will be like, wow, Heather, you had a really fucked up childhood.
Yeah, but like,
I
honey,
did.
that wasn't okay.
No. And yeah, so let's move along. Safety concerns, especially for women, risks include, harassment, scams, stalking, or unsafe meetups. I mean, we've seen those documentaries where women will get scammed out of hundreds of thousands of dollars because they think they're dating like an heir to a diamond fortune or some crazy shit, right?
He just needs your social security number and like a
Nigerian prince is going to give you money.
A withdrawal from your 401k, but once he's able to access his fortune,
he's going to pay you back
of
tenfold.
Course.
Yeah. Ashley was frustrated after these 2 poor connections, we'll just say. She still had hope for at least one other. So she'd met this guy named Edward Bonilla Jr., who went by the username eMoneyBon.
okay.
I would have to skip on somebody who called themselves eMoney.
E-money.
eMoneyBon.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the username, you can actually learn a lot from someone.
Yeah. I think yours was like Sad Sack 69 or something.
That's not true.
And I was like, this guy sounds depressed. I'm going to go out with him.
That's not true at all. I would never call myself Sad Sack.
Dysfunctional Dylan. Just kidding. I don't know what your username was.
I think it was Big D.
It was a Big D.
That's right. That's why. I see why you swiped on me.
See, I knew it was like ironic though.
Oh, yeah.
Like if somebody nicknamed you Tiny.
Oh.
Right? So I was like, yeah, Big D, okay.
Big D paper maker.
So they're on the Meet Me app, which I've never heard of this app. Are you familiar with Meet Me?
No, but I did. I used Met Me. It was a past tense dating app, and you would recount like dates in the past with other people. Y'all would talk about dates y'all had.
It was called Met Me, but it just like hooked you up with like the ghost of someone who's no longer available.
Well, yeah, y'all wouldn't date each other. You would just get together and talk about dates that you had already had.
That might be one of the dumbest things I've ever heard out of your mouth. Okay, moving along, baby. Ashley met him in March of 2015, which is only 2 months after her boyfriend passed away.
Yeah, I think she's just hiding from the grief, honestly. And I'm not going to trash her or talk bad about her.
No.
But I really think that's what she's doing. She's having a tough time. She's had this horrible thing happen, and she doesn't know what to do, and she's just trying to just feel alive,
like rebound
Yeah.
back,
Right.
Because those rebound types of relationships I've never really seen those work out, right? But it is like she just needs a distraction, something to take her mind off of of these feelings she's having.
Yes, definitely.
Well, the chat with Ebony Bon moves from the dating app to Kik, which is a messaging app. Isn't that for the kids?
Well, so this is when you move from the app to just texting or some other form of communication, you can look at that as like your relationship's progressing, right?
Right. So when I started sending you smoke signals, you knew what that meant?
Yeah.
Okay. After the camping date crashed and burned, Ashley decided to reach out to Edward. According to Brandy, Ashley thought that hanging out with someone else would make her kind of shake off this camping trip, this bad date. And maybe I'm thinking, kind of boost her self-esteem. Like she might be thinking, I can find other dudes to hang out with me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
just to kind of make herself feel better after this shitty date.
But maybe she should take a step back and be like, hey, maybe this isn't in the cards for me right now because I keep having these kind of weird experiences. Maybe I should slow my roll.
I understand. But again, we don't really know Ashley's state of mind.
Right.
Because she's gone through some shit at this point, right? She's going through some shit. Well, it was Friday, April 3rd, 2015. Ashley tells her mom that she's got a date. Now, usually Ashley's dates would come to the door, briefly introduce themselves, and then take her out. Raymond noticed this guy just pulled up and did not bother getting out of the car. And as a mother, that would be a red flag for me. Like, I understand why Raymond was kind of like, about this dude. Because it's like almost disrespectful when a man doesn't knock on the door or like even get out of the car to meet you.
Well, yeah.
Or like meet your family, even if it's just briefly.
It's
it just seems like the gentlemanly thing to do.
Well, it's almost like pulling up someone's house and honking.
Right. Like if you want to take my child out, you can at least present yourself.
You can take a couple of minutes, let me get a read on you.
Some manners.
Yeah.
It just seems polite to me. And very impolite to just sit in the car and like honk on the horn. Like, what am I, fucking, piece of pizza? You're just honking and the waitress is going to bring me out on my tray? Well, anyway,
on roller skates.
Yeah. Brandy typically liked to get a feel for the guys Ashley went out with. She would often, scope out their cars. I have to say, I like Brandy. She would scope out their cars. She would jot down their tag numbers. And then she would greet them just so she would get, a physical description. Like, she would go knock on the window and be like, hey, I'm Brandy,
Okay.
Yeah. And I love that Brandy was so concerned about her sister's safety, but she's also, supporting her. On this particular evening, Brandy wasn't at home, so she did not get the opportunity to lay eyes on Edward or his car. I must add this, that Ashley didn't have a cell phone. She shared a cell phone with her mother, Rayma. Ashley didn't take this phone on the date with Edward. Rayma is at home with Ashley's young children, so it probably made more sense to leave the phone in case of an emergency, right? Ashley left at 9:15 or maybe shortly after. Edward offered to take Ashley to a bonfire party hosted by his brother's girlfriend, Lindsay Diaz. Diaz lived nearby in an area known as Goose Creek. Even if it was late at night or early in the morning, Ashley had a habit of letting her mom know that she'd made it home safely.
Or I'm sure if her plans were going to change, she would let her mom know what's going on.
Absolutely. So when Rayma woke up on Saturday morning to find that Ashley had not made it home, she was concerned. And I don't know the family dynamic, but it does seem that Rayma understood, her daughter's 28. She's an adult. If she wants to stay out, she's welcome to do that. But she always let her mother know. I'm not coming home tonight.
Okay.
I'm crashing at a friend's place, that kind of thing.
Just so she wasn't worried.
Well, right. And so since Rayma had the kids, she thought it was unusual for Ashley not to call or check in at all. Rayma and Brandy were worried right off the bat because this was not like Ashley. They scrolled through the cell phone to see if Ashley had reached out, but instead they found several messages from the date, Edward. A message was sent to Ashley at 3:28 a.m. asking if she was awake, and then it said, quote, "Just making sure you made it home safely. Sorry I left at the gas station, but you were too drunk to handle."
Oh, my God. Now, that's the last thing that you want to see in this phone.
Right. So by now, Rayma and Brandy are distressed. And if Ashley had been left at a gas station, drunk and without a phone, like what had happened to her? She had not reached out to her family. She had not gotten a ride home. And can we just discuss Edward for a moment, Dylan? What kind of guy leaves an intoxicated woman alone at a gas station in the dark, in the middle of the night or these early morning hours without a phone or means to get home?
No, that's crazy. Like, even if some situation was developing, you got to figure out a way to get her somewhere safe. And again, you can be like, well, she was drunk. That's all the more reason you can't just put someone out. Now, if they're attacking, I'm not saying she was, but if they're like trying to get physical or something, I can understand getting frustrated. You know what I mean? But I still just don't think unless they're short of actually trying to hurt
like
you.
Stab you in the neck with
Yeah,
an ink pen
yeah.
or
Then
something.
you can push a bitch down at that point.
Oh my gosh.
You just push her down. Don't shake her or anything. But seriously, get away from her. But I still feel like you would have to be like, I got to get somebody here to help this person. You know what I mean? It's like you can't just leave them. That's weird.
I mean, Edward's mama, I'm sorry, but she did a poor job of raising this boy because he ain't right. And this is like the second red flag for me.
Well, yeah, no manners, no way. He didn't present himself. He didn't like even take 2 minutes to, hey, how are y'all? Hey, we'll be back in a little while, whatever. And now this. So this seems very, he doesn't seem like a caring person.
You know what I think we have here, Dylan?
Is he a shitbird?
A shitbird.
What? Caw-caw. Caw-caw.
Yeah. Brandy tries to call Edward, but the call goes unanswered. So she uses 3 different phones before finally reaching him. So he's screening calls.
Oh, she's calling his number with multiple phones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brandy explains that the family is on pins and needles, worried about Ashley. Now, Edward says he left her at a Sonico gas station. And then later he tells Brandy, well, I dropped her off in front of a trailer park.
Okay, so why, how are you having trouble remembering where you left her?
He says he dropped her off after midnight. Edward has not seen or spoken to Ashley since. He tells Brandy that Ashley was very drunk, and because of her erratic behavior, he kicked her out of the car. According to Edward, Ashley refused to give her address, so he dropped her at the gas station or the trailer park, depending on which story he's telling. But here's the thing, he had her address. He'd picked her up earlier. So Brandy's not buying this story.
So he can't remember how to take her back where he picked her up
She's
from.
like, you've got it in your, she texted you the ad, you have this in your phone.
You've been here.
You've been to the
You
house.
came here.
You're full of shit. Now, during the phone call, Brandy will say that Edward was nice and helpful. She didn't get the answers she wanted, though. Brandy decided to contact the Dorchester County Sheriff's Department to file a missing persons report. Rayma and Brandy immediately launched their own efforts to find Ashley. Brandy contacts all of Ashley's friends, anyone Ashley had recently been chatting with, even on some of these apps. No one had heard from Ashley.
Okay.
This would freak me out, right?
Oh, yeah.
And especially as a parent, what has happened to your child? On Sunday, the guy she'd gone camping with stopped by the house to apologize. Shane. He had actually found his wallet and felt like a giant asshole.
I guess so.
So he came by to apologize and immediately wanted to help her family find Ashley and even offered to speak with law enforcement. He was interviewed and was cleared because he had an alibi for Friday, which was the night she had gone missing. But, even he's, really concerned about Ashley. Edward Bonilla Jr. lived in Hanahan, which is about 25 miles from Somerville. Law enforcement wanted to speak with him because he was the last known person to see Ashley. Edward told them the same story that he had told Brandy about how Ashley was like drunk and unruly, and he just set her out on the side of the road in front of a gas station or a trailer park.
Yeah.
Or a hot dog stand. Like at this point, he's probably just making shit up. Edward. Edward told law enforcement that he picked Ashley up from her house after 9. They'd gone to a bonfire just before midnight. They left, and he stopped at a gas station and then set Ashley out in front of a trailer park.
Oh, I see. Now it makes sense.
Edward agreed to do like a ride along with deputies to show them the exact route he had taken that night. Edward shows them the Summer Village Mobile Home Park as the location where Ashley got out of the car. And he claimed after they'd departed from the gas station, Ashley had needed to, make a little pee-pee. So he'd pulled over on the side of the road by the trailer park. And I guess, she peed and then was being unruly.
Like cussing him while she's squatting?
Yeah, so he just drove off.
Okay, that kind of makes sense.
It's like an angry pee.
You're not going to give me lip while you're squatted in the bushes, bud. While you're pissing in front of a 1950 single wide, okay?
Deputies found it suspicious that he had dropped Ashley at this particular trailer park because it was just 2 miles from where she lived. So, why wouldn't you just put her ass in the car and drive her home, right?
Yeah, you could stand her for another couple of miles, surely.
Deputies checked nearby security cameras, but the cameras didn't capture any images of the blue Hyundai Sonata he was driving, a car that happened to belong to his mother. Now, after the interview, Edward's mother and his girlfriend came to pick him up from the police station. Not a good look for this guy. He'd gone on a date with a missing girl, and then now he has a girlfriend picking him up. I mean,
And he's driving his mom's car.
that makes law enforcement, be like,
This guy's a loser.
things that make you go, right? Lindsay Diaz, who was hosting the bonfire, reached out to law enforcement. She had known the Bonilla family for many years. She had gone to middle school with Edward and high school with him. Lindsay dated Anthony, Edward's brother, for 4 years. So she knows this family super well, right? And she was really surprised to hear that Ashley was missing. So she wanted to help.
Okay.
Right? Lindsay didn't believe Edward had anything to do with her disappearance. She said that Edward had confirmed plans to attend the bonfire, saying that he was bringing his girlfriend. And Lindsay had met Jasmine, the girlfriend, before. She was taken aback when Edward shows up with another woman.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Not his girlfriend. Yeah. Lindsay said Ashley was not intoxicated at the party. And in fact, she hadn't wanted to leave the party yet. It was Edward who insisted they leave. And this was just before midnight. Ashley said she wanted to finish the beer they'd picked up for the party. But Edward's like, no, urging her along. We got to go, and takes the beer with them.
Well, so this is contradicting his story even more, because according to her, other witnesses, it sounds like, this girl's not drunk out of her mind. She's not being an asshole. So
she's just chilling, having a good time.
That
She doesn't want to leave.
That blows his story out of the water, really, in my opinion.
Well, we're going to catch Edward in a lot of lies, Dylan. Security footage shows Edward stopping at that Sunoco gas station on Saturday, April 4th, and this is around 12:04 a.m. Ashley exits the vehicle, goes inside for about 7 minutes, and then returns to the car. And a minute later, they drive off in the Sonata. And this video footage, these cameras show her going to the bathroom in the gas station.
Okay.
Which, again, doesn't make sense. Ashley had gone to the restroom, like I said, so law enforcement found this story about pulling over so she could pee a little strange. I mean, most young women, including Ashley, she's 28, don't need to pee within minutes of already peeing.
No.
Some of us who maybe are older, we might need to pee 3 or 4 times in a 20-minute span, especially if we've had beer.
Well, I'm telling you, man, now...
But most young people don't have that problem.
No, not at all. But now, if I drink 2 beers inside of an hour and a half, oh my God, I will pee 9 times.
Yeah.
This could have been.
I'm like a camel.
This would have made sense if I went in the gas station and peed. You dropped me, or you're with me, and then you said I had to stop through 5 miles down the road and pee again, like on the side of the road, that's possible. If I've been drinking any beer at all.
Absolutely.
It's so weird.
I relate, okay? Because all I do is pee. I pee all the time. It's like I hit 35 and just started peeing constantly.
Your body's like, now we're going to piss.
Yeah, just all the time. Like you're always going to have to pee.
But at the
you
same
have a sip of water, you're going to need to go pee.
Always peeing, but at the same time, I feel like I'm retaining a lot of water. Make it make sense.
I'm just like, what the fuck, man? I'm going to start wearing a diaper because I'm tired of like needing to go pee all the time. I got to finish stuff.
The convenience of a diaper actually seems kind of appealing.
Yeah, a little bit. But then I think about it gets wet and soggy, rubs against your skin.
And then you'll be running around with a little diaper hanging off your butt.
And it's going to be squishy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, that's good. I'm good.
Me running around shirtless, not wanting you to change my diaper because I don't want to stop playing.
Dylan, I ate a few hours ago. Please stop. Lindsay Diaz also told officers another detail that proved Edward had lied to them. So during the interview, they had asked Edward about employment, and he told them he was unemployed due to an ankle injury. But Lindsay tells officers that Edward was working at the same place as his brother Anthony. They worked together at R.W. Cobble & Company. It's a flooring company. Police are able to confirm that Edward had been working there for 8 months and had never been out on any kind of like work-related injury.
So why would you even say that?
Exactly.
I mean, that's very easy for them to confirm, right?
It just sounds like this guy, he just lies to lie or something.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
And I don't really understand the point of, I don't have a job.
Like it wouldn't matter if you did or didn't. You know what I mean? I mean, that doesn't really affect your story at all. But when you lie about something like that, something obvious, something dumb that doesn't matter, of course, investigators, it's going to make them wonder what the hell's wrong with you.
Well, yeah, and when you have been caught in multiple lies, I mean, they're going to be like, wow, your credibility is shot. I don't believe anything that comes out of your mouth. And they're going to look at you like you're guilty, right? Now, his supervisor, Rob Cobble, told investigators that Edward had access to a large Econoline van. It was a work vehicle that he often was allowed to take home. Cobble recalled that on the Saturday morning after Ashley had gone missing, Edward called in sick, saying, I'm not coming in today, I'm not feeling well. But then he had driven to the work site in the van. He said, I need to retrieve an item from the van. Like after he dropped it off, he came back to get something out of the van. And this was just a few hours after Ashley had gone missing. So this is very early in the morning.
Okay.
Right. Edward also called in sick on Sunday, April 5th. Again, he's not showing up for work.
He's got bad ankles, dude.
He's got something. About 11 days, maybe he has the crabs.
He's hurt his ankle from dancing around all this bullshit.
There you go. About 11 days later, an investigator shows up at the job site to speak with Edward. Edward seemed flustered and caught off guard, which is exactly what law enforcement had wanted, to just catch him in the moment. He wouldn't be able to fabricate some story.
Oh, yeah, they totally use that as a tactic, kind of surprise you at work or wherever you're at to kind of throw you off guard and then see, get a real good read on you.
Now, at this point, Edward lies again, saying he had only worked this job for 2 days, but they knew it had been 8 months. I mean, his boss had confirmed this. So again, they're like, Edward's a liar.
He's like, you can't even see me. I'm not even here. I'm invisible. Who's Edward? My name's Anthony.
I'm not Edward. I'm Jacob.
What? Okay.
I'm the werewolf. Yeah. So police confiscate the van that Edward had been using around the time of Ashley's disappearance. They also get some CTV, like security footage, showing Edward and his brother driving up to the company site on Friday night, April the 3rd, and again on Saturday, April the 4th. On Friday, Anthony was driving a GMC pickup truck. He pulls up, Edward gets out of the truck, gets in the van, drives away.
Okay.
On Saturday morning, very early, just a few hours after Ashley had gone missing, Edward can be seen driving the van and backing it into the same parking spot from the day before. and a car is seen picking up Edward.
So you're talking about in the early morning hours, right?
Yeah.
Like 3, 4 in the morning.
Yeah. Like
Oh.
5, 6 a.m., maybe somewhere in there.
Okay.
Right? The van revealed an array of forensic evidence. There were blood spatters like throughout the van. There was also a can of polyurethane which had been dented, and the can was also stained with a red substance. And they don't come out and say this, but it sounds to me like maybe you've hit somebody with this can of paint
And it
there's
has blood
on it
Yeah.
because it's dented in.
And you leave that in the van?
The blue Hyundai Sonata that Edward had driven on the night of the bonfire was located at an Enterprise rental car location in Charleston, South Carolina. Now, his mother had exchanged the Sonata for a silver Chevy Cruze. So it sounds like she parked her car at this rental company and took this Chevy Cruze.
So she took it and was she already renting a car, or
Well,
did
no,
she?
she owned the Hyundai, but she rented this car and was driving it around.
Okay. I mean, is that just a happenstance, or is that mom culpable?
I
Or
don't
does she know something?
Oh, no, Dylan. But the Hyundai was seized, and they were going to do some testing. Turns out DNA belonging to Ashley was found in that car.
Now, it would have to depend on what type of DNA, because he took her, he took her to the party in the car. You know what I'm saying?
There's blood.
Oh, okay.
Security images from a nearby school showed Edward's home, and he arrived on Saturday, April 4th, around 1:21 a.m. in the Sonata. He trades out the car for the work van and leaves at 2:35 a.m., heading back out
Yeah.
in the work van.
I mean, this is not weird at all.
Now, at this point, investigators suspect Edward has murdered Ashley and that he used the van to transport the body somewhere. On April 15th, officers seize both vehicles. A 30-year-old Edward is arrested for obstruction of justice. This charge would hold him while they finished testing evidence and building a murder case. Edward was attempting to flee when police arrived at his home to arrest him. He had a suitcase packed, ready to run.
Okay. And I'm sure that he had a really well thought out plan.
I just imagine it's one of those tiny little suitcases that kids have that says going to grandma's.
Yeah.
He's got his little tidy whities folded up in it, like a teddy bear or something.
And he's waiting for his mom to come pick him up.
Mom, can you give me a ride? Yeah. Once he's arraigned, the judge sets bail at $400,000 because they definitely see Edward as a flight risk. Since there was no body, only blood remained. Ashley's family was holding out hope. And I kind of looked a little bit into this, Dylan, because we've seen a lot of this in true crime cases. Denial is a built-in psychological defense that helps the mind survive what it can't handle. When something overwhelming happens, like death, violence, some kind of betrayal, the brain wants to tell you, this is too much right now, and kind of blocks the reality of it.
It didn't happen. It's not real.
Right. So fully accepting what happened can feel unbearable. So denial is this trick your brain plays on you to act as a buffer. And we've seen that, like I said, so many times in true crime cases. And, I understand they are holding out hope that Ashley is still alive, but there seems to be some overwhelming evidence that she's no longer with us.
Well, yeah, and I understand what you said just now. It sounds very accurate, and it sounds reasonable, like something that your brain does for a reason. But I hate to say that, given our true crime knowledge, and I'm sure many of our listeners are the same, I just don't think I could lie to myself in a situation like this. As hard as it would be to admit the truth, I think it's obvious that something bad has happened, and she's not just going to turn up okay.
During interrogations, the police press Edward, even threatening the death penalty, but he does not budge. Edward will not reveal where Ashley's body is hidden, but based on the blood evidence, the police are certain she's no longer alive. It was that.
So it's a significant amount
that
of
much.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Just what they found, left behind.
And you're just going to take the work van, for the company you work for, and do this thing and just go put the van back all bloodied? Like, what are we doing here?
Edward's cell phone was used to track his movements on the night and morning of Ashley's disappearance. So between 12:30 and 1:02 a.m., the phone showed that he was near Ashley's house. Then he drove to Harleyville, which is about 20 minutes outside of Somerville. His phone pinged near a remote piece of farmland on Browntown Road. And this was just after he called into work to say, I'm sick, I'm not coming in.
So just after around 12:30 when he so this is just after they've left the bonfire, hasn't been that long, and it's almost like he's going to take her home. Or he's in the area.
They were like 2 miles from her house.
Right, because the bonfire wasn't even that far. It was in the same area, basically.
Well, it sounds like it was close by.
And then all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, he goes way out in the middle of nowhere.
To like a completely different town.
That's not good.
It's 20 minutes away. I mean, it doesn't really make sense. I mean, it would be one thing if you could rationalize it, like there's a cookout that's open till 3 a.m., so that's why I drove there.
Well, yeah, you got to get a corn dog.
To just drive to like a random dirt road out in the middle of the country, there's not a corn dog there.
Well, no, at the cookout. That would be why I'm going to the cookout.
Well, yeah, I mean, I got
but that's
that
why
part.
you're not going to the dirt road because there's no corn dog.
Honey, please keep up.
There's no milkshakes.
I understood what you were saying.
We used to drive. I mean, I don't think people understand, or some may.
Well, people who live in rural areas, they understand.
Yeah, we would drive like 40 minutes to get a milkshake late at night.
From Cookout?
Yeah, because there wasn't one in our town.
Yeah. Well, it was like a thing, like me, you, and my daughter, because my daughter was all into going for like the late night shake. We would like pile in the car in our pajamas and drive out of county. Yeah,
into another county, hit the late night cookout, and just like power slam this shake all the way home.
And then by the time we got home, we were all three like,
bathroom. We felt terrible. Why did we do this?
It was lucky we had 3 bathrooms in that house.
Yes.
Because we were all lactose intolerant when it came to milkshakes. So just after calling into work. So why would he travel to this area if he is unable to go to work, right? Like if you're sick and you're calling in, why are you out in the middle of nowhere?
Again,
you just decided to go like deer hunt before you called into work. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Police were also able to see that Edward was actively texting his girlfriend Jasmine like the entire time he was making plans to go out with Ashley. So the same evening they're texting, he's texting his girlfriend. Baby, I love you.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't even get why you're trying to date someone. You got a girlfriend.
Well, it's just not a good look.
No.
Right? I mean, people get an impression of you. And they're seeing Edward lie. And then we see that he's lying to his girlfriend. He's not telling Ashley he has a girlfriend. So it's like this guy just lies to everyone.
And including himself.
Sounds like it. A week after y'all call himself E-Money when he's like got to borrow his mom's car. Like, you don't even have a car, dude? Anyway. It was a week after the arrest. Edward told his lawyer where Ashley's body was located. 5 weeks to the day of her disappearance, law enforcement assembled a search team with canines and volunteers to bring Ashley home. And it did not take investigators long to find Ashley. They go to this area, rural area, kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and they find a bone sticking up from the dirt.
Oh, my gosh.
Digging in that area, they find Ashley, and she's wearing only a red bra. Edward denied sexually assaulting Ashley. He claimed her pants had come off when he was dragging her body.
I mean, for one, how making a statement like that is so ridiculous, period. And for two, we don't believe you.
But she also had black electrical tape around her neck and wrists. Ashley had suffered blunt force trauma to the head. The medical examiner will later say her manner of death was homicide. She died as a result of strangulation and blunt force trauma. The coroner was unable to determine if she had been sexually assaulted. Ashley's toxicology report showed alcohol in her system, which they already knew she had been drinking, but it wasn't like an overwhelming amount of alcohol,
Right.
right? But what they find is a muscle relaxer is also in her system.
Oh.
Police speculate she had unknowingly been given this muscle relaxer and that the person likely tried to have sex with her after they gave her this drug and left the party. And that person meaning, Edward.
And that lines up with witness accounts of him kind of
rushing
rushing her to leave the party. So it's almost like he's
witnesses saying she wasn't drunk when she left the party.
she's having a good time. She kind of was reluctant to leave. She wanted to hang out, have fun, which is the whole point of what she was trying to do. And then he's kind of, oh no, let's go. He's kind of rushing her along. It sounds like he's dosed her. He's snuck this muscle relaxer in maybe her beer or whatever, and he expects it to take effect. So he wants to get her out of the public eye before that happens, so he can be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
God, what a dirtbag.
Yeah, I kind of want to punch him in his wiener. Now, when she resisted, they theorized he became angry. Edward sexually assaulted Ashley, restrained her, knocked her out, and then panicked, thinking he had killed her. It is more probable that he pulled the car over that second time, like after they left the gas station, to sexually assault Ashley rather than to let her out to pee again.
Right.
Right? Ashley had confided in her sister and others that she did not want to have sex with anybody. All she wanted to do was go out, meet new people, have fun. She was not looking for a hookup. She had no interest in sex. So her family, nobody believed that she willingly, hooked up with this guy.
Right.
I don't understand the mind of this cheater either, because why would you bring Ashley around your brother and your brother's girlfriend? Like he wasn't worried his girlfriend would find out?
Or doesn't care what they think
Because there's all
either.
these people around
Yeah.
who know you and know your girlfriend, know you have a girl. And then Edward has the audacity to harm Ashley. This guy's an idiot.
He's a total piece of shit.
Yeah. Well, he's a lot of things.
And he's dumb. I mean, let's be honest. This guy's stupid.
He's dumb. But most criminals are dumb. They're not exactly splitting the atom. Right? Sadly, detectives had the difficult task of informing Ashley's family of what they'd found. Ashley had passed away 2 weeks before her birthday. She would have been 29 years old. She left 3 young children behind. And let's just say Edward is a monster. I mean, first of all, drugging a person is about as sleazy as it gets.
It's very cowardly.
Secondly, attempting to sexually assault a drugged person makes you a top-tier demon, in my opinion. And then murdering the victim that you've already hurt, just fuck you, Edward, man. You're on my shit list. And if I could get my hands on you, I would punch you in your probably little stupid wiener. Your little lying wiener.
What a cowardly punk.
He is.
You know what I mean?
He's something else. So May 5th was the day Edward was officially charged with first-degree murder. The trial would begin over a year later in August of 2016. Edward's attorneys made the bold decision to put their client on the stand.
Wow. Look, that's a bold decision in any defense.
It's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it works out.
But in this case, your only hope is if you don't have a strong case or you think they can really bring something to the table, maybe connect with the jury or really make a case for their innocence. But this is their client. Edward, this guy's their client. And they have to see
that he's a bumbling idiot.
That he's a bumbling idiot who can't keep anything straight. So it leads me to believe that either they had absolutely nothing as far as anything to build a defense with, or they're wholly incapable of doing their job very well either. Which I don't care, because I want this guy to not have a good defense.
Well, it is a calculated risk, which most of the time I think should be avoided at a trial.
Well, yeah, it opens you up to cross-examination from the prosecution.
In a murder trial, the defense must decide, is this going to hurt or help my client? So did they want him to explain the damaging evidence? Even in his own words, I'm not sure Edward can explain away the massive amounts of blood in 2 vehicles, all of the lies he told police, and then dumping a body.
No.
So if they thought Edward would come across as a credible and sympathetic defendant. I think they should try again.
You know what? Maybe
I think these lawyers didn't go to school. I don't think they know nothing.
maybe secretly they're doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, I mean, they are, really.
And that they're just, they're just tanking this fucking piece of shit.
Well, they're certainly not doing Edward any favors.
Yeah, and they want him to go to jail and get the longest sentence possible.
Well, they probably know deep down that he's a piece of shit.
I wonder, I bet you defense attorneys do that sometimes.
I wouldn't be surprised. Edward said that Ashley's death was accidental. Now, this is the story. He's on the stand. This is the story. The death was accidental, and he's basically blaming it on the alcohol.
I knew it.
Right? His story is that she had been drunk and combative. He let her out to pee on the side of the road, then accidentally hit Ashley with his car, trying to prevent her violent outburst because she was upset that he hit her with the car.
So
He placed tape around her wrists, and that a bear hug led to strangulation, and it was all just a big misunderstanding.
and it was for her safety he restrained her with the tape.
Yeah.
And he didn't mean to. How do you hit her with a car? No, this is exactly what I expected from Edward. Seriously.
So we have a killer trying to blame the victim, and unfortunately this is common. Killers like Edward often try to reshape the story so their actions feel justified, like, I had no choice. She was drunk and out of control, right?
If I'm guilty of anything, it's trying too hard to keep her from hurting herself.
Edward is also trying to reduce moral blame in the eyes of others. Like, he's trying to make Ashley appear violent, aggressive, threatening in order to shift how others feel about the crime. Edward seems to be saying it was somehow self-defense. And Edward, in my opinion, sees himself as a victim because he's a piece of crap. Now, it's her fault that he had to cheat on his girlfriend, drug and attempt to rape a woman he met online, and then murder her because she doesn't want to have sex with his crusty ass. But this is all Ashley's fault, right? All of that. Like, she made him make all these bad choices.
So to be this bad and to this dumb, this guy's been doing this all his life. It's always someone else's problem. Or even when he can explain his actions or his poor choices away, it's not his fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's one of those people.
Afterward, he hurried home, leaving Ashley on the roadside. At home, Edward picked up the van so he could transport her body because he was, quote, scared and panicked. Edward taped a bag over Ashley's head to prevent bleeding and loaded her in the van. So he's admitting that he hit her body. But I guess that's her fault too. Like, she made him dump her in the woods.
What the hell?
He's just such a piece of shit, dude. Ashley's family has to sit through this bullshit testimony.
That's the worst part of these trials. Having to watch this moron, this idiot, monster. Now, we keep calling him idiot, but he is truly a monster. And just sit there and defame.
Listening to this killer blame her.
Yeah, slander your loved one like this.
They had to be infuriated, but also devastated to hear those details, thinking about her poor body being moved from car to car, left on the side of the road like a piece of trash, just taken into the woods and buried in the shallow grave like she's nothing, and then lying through your fucking teeth. Man, I understand why families attack defendants in courtrooms.
I seriously think that should be a sentence.
Because I saw this video of a man in Charlotte, North Carolina, confront his son's accused killer, like outside the courtroom. And this man attacks the defendant and fucks him up. He beats the living shit out of this guy. And the whole time I'm watching it, I was like, I can't say I wouldn't do the same thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think you should be allowed to do that.
Well, I would have a really hard time sitting through this guy's testimony if that were my daughter. Like, fuck this guy. He deserves the worst. So this lame-ass defense does not work. Big surprise. A South Carolina jury found Edward guilty and sentenced him to life in prison. Here's the kicker, Dylan. On the same day, his father, Edward Benias Sr., was arrested for operating a prostitution ring out of the strip club where he worked.
What the hell?
Ed Sr. is also a registered sex offender for attempting to rape a woman in 1983. So this seems like learned behavior, like men who are pig fuckers raise little pig fuckers.
Well, yeah, it's
right?
nature versus nurture.
I mean, and I'm just going out on a limb here, Dylan, but maybe being raised by a man who openly hates women and thinks their value is only sex is definitely going to shape a son with similar attitudes. I mean, kids don't just listen to what their parents say. They absorb how they behave, what they believe, what they do. And I'm not blaming Edward's father, but it certainly doesn't help Edward to not be a shitty person, to see your dad do this shit.
Well, no, and you can go one of two ways. You can either be like him, or you can be totally against the way he is and, respect women, love women, protect women, because your dad was a piece of shit who was a womanizer and sounds like a violent asshole as well.
Well, there's this thing, Dylan, called intergenerational transmission of violence. And it's the idea that, like, harmful behaviors can sometimes be passed down through the environment, like modeling and trauma. So you got Edward raised by a sex offender who clearly has maybe some negative feelings about women. It isn't a direct pipeline for Edward to become a killer, but it poses an elevated risk, right? It's less about copying the crime and more about growing up in conditions that can distort boundaries, empathy, impulse control. And so I am kind of leaning toward, I feel like maybe this is what was going on. I'm not a professional, but it seems like the dad's a piece of shit who thinks it's okay to sexually assault women and pimp women out, and women are just for sex.
Now, you hear about things like what you're describing or generational trauma, and I've even heard people say it can actually be imprinted almost on your DNA.
Yeah.
Your DNA. And do you really think that it all boils down to what some people believe is just our whole personality, everything about us really boils down to the chemicals, the hormones in our body, and the way all that stuff interacts? Do you think that could explain why someone can be a shitty person and then have a kid who's a piece of shit too? Is it nature and nurture, or you think it's just all this shit combined?
I think it's combined.
Right.
But I have noticed that a lot of shitbirds tend to have children that are shitbirds, and then you end up with like these families, and it's just generations of shitbirds.
Right, and it's like they have
where it's like 4 or 5 generations of this family have this reputation of just they're absolute pieces of shit.
Right,
and like every town has one of these families.
It could just be their brain chemistry, right? They have no impulse control. They, short tempers or whatever you want to call it. That could be a big part of it, right?
Well, I don't believe in coincidences. And so seeing Edward's dad is a sex offender, it doesn't surprise me so much that his son is trying to drug and rape a woman.
And it makes me curious what Edward's father's parent or, dad or grandpa was like. Or were they the same? Or were they mean and, all this and that too?
You just never know.
And this is where you got to break the chain, You have to recognize, hey, my dad's a piece of shit. I don't want to be like him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as hard as you might not want to be like your parents and stuff, it's almost like sometimes in ways you are like them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Even if you try hard not to be.
Yeah, like even if it's little things or something, but it might be... It affects your relationship with other people and just your emotional maturity. So it can be tough. You might not be able to change everything, but I don't think me being wired who I am now, I could never do anything like this. And I could never be around anyone who would do something.
Well, that's why, it's like you don't want to put this broad generalization that if your parent was like a sex offender, you're going to go out and be a sex offender. I mean, we can't just paint that with like a broad, stroke, whatever. But, you do have people that go that route, but then you also have people that grow up in dysfunction or shit they just have a shitty life and they are raised by shitty people, but they're like, bro, I'm never going to be like that. I don't want to be that person. And then they grow up and kind of live their life in the exact opposite direction,
Right. And that's true. I think I might have said that earlier. You can do one of two. It's just like, people who are molested. Some people become a molester. Some people,
a lot of people don't,
fight for victims all their lives because they know what it's like to be victimized. So it's very strange.
It's a really interesting study for sure. I mean, like y'all know I'm no psychiatrist. I've no psychology major.
What? I'm
not a sociologist, but
you've been prescribing me medicine every month. What are you talking about? You're not a psychologist?
And then I make you lie down on the couch and tell your problems to Rufus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I just go to sleep.
Yes.
So.
Well, no, but I do find it really interesting, and that's why, I do kind of like enjoy delving into some of these topics, especially when we're discussing, certain cases. Because I do feel like finding out that Edward's father was a sex offender and running a prostitution ring, I was like, well, yeah, that would explain his son being like a rapist creep, a murderer.
It does. And even if you take nature out of it, being raised around someone, because when you're a kid and you're in your household, you think that's what the world is. Even if you're in a truly horrible, dysfunctional household, you think that's just how things are, right?
Yeah.
And many people don't realize that's not true until they start going to school, and maybe some people don't even realize it till like they go to away to college or something like that, or finally move out on their own. Hey, that's not how relationships are supposed to work. That you shouldn't treat women like that or whatever, and having a very strong violent outburst is not a good reaction to things around you or other people, and so you just think that's how things are. You think it's normal, and so as a kid growing up in an environment like that, you just absorb that, and it really can make you become that person. And that's who you are. You're not critical of your actions, or you're not self-reflective. You just think that's the way you're supposed to be. You think women are, this or that, and that you're a man. And, they call it toxic masculinity nowadays. I call it being a toxic person. I don't think you have to be. I think a woman can be this way. I think a man can be this way. It's just being a piece of shit.
Oh, I've seen toxic on both sides.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's just a toxic person. Of course, they're broad stroking it with the toxic masculinity thing. But
well, yeah, because there's been a push to demonize men, and men are terrible. Yeah,
right. But
we're not going to get into all that.
And you see in these same-sex female couples, you have a toxic person that acts like that toxic man.
Yeah, I mean, domestic violence rates are very high.
Yeah,
among lesbian relationships,
and it's crazy because I just don't understand why you think it's okay to treat people like that. I don't know. It's never made sense to me. Like a man who beats a woman, or people that beat their children. I mean, beat them, just physical abuse. I've never understood how in the world you would ever do that, or what you get out of it. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like, as a man, if I right now was to beat you, start attacking you, like, what am I proving? You know what I'm saying? That I'm stronger?
That you're going to get your ass kicked by your wife is what you would prove.
Well, no,
buddy.
I would probably take some kind of sharp object to the head very quickly, I'm sure, whatever's within it. But I just don't know how you can live with yourself.
Well, because you're not a piece of shit.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe you've broken the chains of being a piece of shit.
You be less a piece of shit.
So you less a piece
right?
of shit.
You the shit that don't smell.
You like the little tiny
you know
turd.
What I'm saying?
And then, your daddy was like a big old hunk of shit.
You're
just like a little.
You're just a speck.
You're like a little speck.
You're a speck of
He
shit.
farted and
right?
you're just a speck.
And you keep on until your kids are like basically normal people at some point. Or maybe they're kids. But it started.
Well, we can hope, right?
They just going to be like a fleck of shit.
We can all hope,
right?
Those of us who grew up in dysfunction, that perhaps we've made a better generation that will go on to be better parents. And then somewhere down the line,
they're normal
there
people.
might be a normal functioning part of your bloodline.
Yeah, and it's called the shrink the shit method.
Okay. All right, Dylan. Well, thank you for sitting down with me to discuss Ashley's case. Like I said, this is a case that has just weighed on me because this poor girl, or young woman, I should say, I have a bad habit of calling women girls, just a habit, not to be disrespectful.
So toxically masculine.
I'm very toxic masculine, okay? It's just really sad to see that this young woman went through losing the love of her life, and she's just trying to put herself out there. She has these terrible dates with these men, and it's almost like foreshadowing what's to come, because then she meets this absolute fucking piece of shit, and her life is over, and you have these 3 children left without a mother. The little boy lost his mom and his dad.
Damn. It's crazy.
Her
And this family, yeah.
I mean, just her mom, her sister. It's heartbreaking.
It's so terrible and so pointless and dumb. And it's these kinds of stories that break my heart and really piss me off at the same time. It's just crazy.
And then it's kind of like a cautionary tale. Like, it reminds me that we've gotten so comfortable with, I guess, the phones, the apps, like getting into an Uber with a stranger. Like, you don't know this person.
Right.
Having random people deliver shit to your house.
Yeah.
Like, they're not casing your house to break in later.
Or they don't
see something nice in your... I mean, it's like we just take for granted all these things. Meeting a stranger online or on an app.
Facebook Marketplace,
That,
meeting them in the parking lot with a pocket full of money.
Craigslist or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, we just take it for granted. But that, these types of things happen. And so we just have to be very vigilant when it comes to, making a deal on Facebook or going on a date with someone, a stranger you don't know. You can take precautions like driving your own vehicle, meeting them somewhere in public.
Right. Yeah, that's it. You go there in public, you come separately, you leave separately. You're really you're creating a bubble around yourself.
Making sure you have like a hatchet in your bag or whatever. Or
All
maybe
right.
that's just what I do. I don't know.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you for that. Thank you to our listeners. And we cannot wait until we're back again.
We have a great midweek coming up.
We do. We are back on it now.
It'll be more like the weekend update for you.
And I gotta say, I got a couple of little silly things I'm trying to get Heather to do. She's been really cracking me up lately. So maybe we'll throw a couple little bonus episodes out there, little shorts.
Bye, Dylan.
Bye.